Let's talk about the Susquehannocks a little more. The Wyandotte, the Andasi, the Conestoga, whatever antonym, whatever name given by other people for them you want to use. Um, we know some things based on some archaeological finds. Um, there's a place out near Pittsburgh, in Spanish Hill, uh, rather large skeletons were found while somebody was excavating out their basement, and these were intact uh, Susquehannock throne burials. Very important people. They Their ancestors were most likely part of Cahote, part of the mound building societies, part of the Mississippi Valley. We see too many similarities in their pottery design. Um, we know there's a strong half of their DNA. We know that's Iroquois, Mohawk is the closest, and the Onondaga, very, very close language and linguistically to the Susquehannock. Um, but they were actually pretty much enemies throughout the Beaver Wars, and before that, even. The Susquehannock were very warlike. They, again, had these advanced skills and knowledge of metallurgy that was more advanced than many around them, and they were making Indian silver, in quotes. That's a nickname for the pewter, the high grade pewter, which was mainly silver that they were producing. Silver is very hard to keep stable by itself, so uh, they used this pewter to trade for beaver furs. The Europeans, the Dutch, the French, are the early ones in this area, the northeast area of the United States, to make contact. Were trading that early with the Susquehannock, and the Susquehannock wanted firearms mainly. Like, they had cannons in the 1600s. Their conquest pushed out a lot of the Delaware tribes into Jersey, into what is now New Jersey. But anyways, I wanted to get into this weird layer that, not just in the Pennypack, but in many of the other bigger creeks that either go to the Schuylkill or to the Delaware. Similar time period, similar layer. Don't know the exact time period, but we see this fascination with the triangles. Triangles, diamond shapes, and circles. And these artifacts, they're not really projectile points. They're more or less ornamental, pendant-like, but made almost quickly. Some would say preforms, but the material looks more ornamental. Um, this fascination of these shapes, it runs deep, and we can maybe, and this is where I really, I hate this. This is where archaeology is not science. It starts guessing, because it's almost impossible to figure out a lost culture's spiritual beliefs by looking at a few things they left behind. It would be like if Christianity, that experiment didn't work, and it just was forgotten, and we dug up an old church, and we found a image of this man on a cross, and we see these little twigs and crosses everywhere. We would have no idea, only to know that, wow, this is something to do with their belief. And um, we find these in such a quantity. For a while, I thought maybe it was some kind of game. Um, Interestingly enough, in that same layer, there's some European finds. I found an old clay pipe and old parts of a spoon, um, late 1600s, early 1700 date range, and the pipe might have even been a little earlier. It's in the motif of a cannon. But in the same area, I found this weird, interesting, perfectly manufactured rectangle of this white material, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was plastic, but no, it's not plastic. I thought it was bone. No, I never thought ivory, and the French especially were into dominoes. This is an old dominoes from an ivory domino before the ivory trade was illegal. Um, and we find these other stone-shaped perfect little squares, circles, triangles. They're usually thin. Some of them are extremely ornate. Some of them are just punched out really quick. Always at these important crossing sites where we find other ritual type artifacts. So the Susquehannock, the people of the triangle, and I know others out there have found similar things with these shapes. And I believe there's some spirituality or some spiritual influence behind these shapes. I find them in reference to where a lot of the metal and the exposed veins of ore run. I find them where you find these really deep holes in the stream, these pitch black pools that could open into some underground areas. You find them in areas where there's a lot of weird geology and caves. And I'm wondering if maybe this is where I hate it. This is completely me speculating a theory, but possibly a portal or a crossing into another world. Maybe you're going from above ground to underground. Maybe this signifies it. Maybe the triangle is a signal of one clan, the circle another, and these are almost tolls or offerings that are paid to some god or something that is in that water, in that area, that they see as a gateway or a portal. And I say this gateway portal theory mainly because it's a lot of what you see in the Mesolithic period, from when we started becoming this hunter-gatherer nomadic species to a more sedentary quasi sedentary farming. You start seeing the early metal workings going on in the archaeology of Doggerland and the UK. You see things like Stonehenge, dolems, and chambers, and mounds of all types and sizes, and we see the same stuff running up the East Coast. We just don't really know what it is, and neither did the Native Americans. They said the stuff was there before they were in the area, in a lot of cases. But the Susquehannocks seem to have a parallel with metalworking and silver. They seem to have a lot of these characteristics in their culture and their appearance and their burials, like the burials I was talking about earlier in the Spanish Hill site, throne-like, buried in this fetal position with a staff in their hand, and a bag, a leather bag in the other, either, it was filled with arrows and seeds. And as these bags would rot, these seeds would hopefully grow a tree, and the tree would consume the body and, back into the earth. But they came from an ancestry and a tradition of mound building. The Susquehannock, or the Conestoga, means people of the blackened pole. They had a giant black pole in the middle of their stockaded villages, where it was either used for keeping time, for planting, and for ritual. And you see the same practice in the Tennessee and Mississippi Valley culture, the Adena culture. But this triangle, and all throughout this video, you're seeing all the images of just different forms of triangles, diamonds, and just different shapes. Could this have been a game, and this is an area where they're mass producing pieces and then refining them, and we're just seeing the pieces that weren't good enough to make the ultimate final cut. No, I think it's all different shapes, sizes, colors, materials. I think it's different people gathering in a place, leaving an offering, and yeah, it's hard to speculate on anything spiritual, but others out there, I have to look more in depth to other people's finds with the triangles and see if they've referenced other things in the areas. A lot of these are in a meandering stream, which leaves these big deposits because it needs to wind. It needs to get momentum to be able to travel. Pennypack means slow, dark, dead water that flows uphill. And a lot of this is washing from the hills, but I think a lot of it is purposely placed. And the pennypack's like a washing machine. It flips layers up on itself, but it doesn't really pull things down further. It just piles more stuff up in the same spots as it winds its way, gaining momentum. And of course, all the industry along the creek over the years, including all through the colonial times, has affected its travel quite a lot. I believe there was some layer of time, and some people that were using the triangle and these shapes symbolically and spiritually to express something. And it all appears to be from one time layer around where we find the Susquehannock artifacts. That's why I associate them with those, and they're also their spearheads and their killing spears were extremely triangular. I have a few examples. Maybe another portal as you take someone's life they're crossing over. And this triangle signifies the journey of a lot of things: light and dark, life and death, hot and cold, evil and good, whatever you want to conjure from it. But just a cool little video, and I wanted to put that out there. The triangles is very significant. I would say these shapes are all very significant. They're made in the same form and function in the same layer. These triangles, diamonds, squares, and circles. This geometry almost, was it a teaching aid? Was it, who knows? Fun stuff though. I'm staying loving it, and I don't care about what the haters say. Hate on and hate, because hey, we ain't got love if we ain't got hate, and we need some cloudy days and a little bit of rain to appreciate the sunny ones. So I keep on trucking. Please subscribe, or don't. Please like or hate. Sorry if I wasted your time. If I enlightened you, thank God. That's all I seek to try to do, is to just put somebody in a direction or to think a little bit differently. And so many of your guys' videos have made me think in different ways, like using the cupids as measurement systems on my artifacts, because that's what a lot of ancients used to see if maybe you can even have more evidence that this is a stone tool. But you don't need much if you've been looking at it for a while to tell if something is manipulated or shaped by a human hand, especially if you have some context when you're in the field finding it. But anyways, good night, good morning, good day, good evening. Stay safe. Love y'all. Peace out.